pieces of critical information, then you need to be able to identify what your goal will be for each interaction, right? So if you're graduating in the fourth semester, and perhaps a couple of companies out there are hiring for the type of role that you want, your goal is obviously to move in their selection process for that position and learn that in right? That's your goal. If you're your first semester, most of the opportunities that will be available on Wednesday are full-time. However, it's a good opportunity to start building those connections and those relationships with those employers. So your goal will be a little bit different based on where you are in your academic journey. But definitely you want to go in prepared. Know who you're talking to, and know what they have to offer. Okay? Second, prepare conversation topics/questions. Okay? You want the goal of Wednesday to be to have a conversation, right? You want the employer to get to know you a little bit, you want to get to know them a little bit, and you want to avoid any awkwardness, right? Those kind of dead spaces of silence, awkward silence. So how do you avoid that? You prepare questions, right? Obviously questions based on the research and based on the goals for the conversation, right? So perhaps again, maybe one of the companies has that dream job of yours, and you've gone through the job description, you have a good grasp of what you want to know a little bit more so you can position yourself accordingly, right? So you can definitely ask additional questions about the opportunities that they have available. Again, if your first semester future opportunities that they might have available, a little bit more insight into the organization, into their selection and recruitment process, right? Have a list of, I would say maybe at least 5 questions you might ask upon based on the conversation. Okay, so research and questions. Okay, you'll never get a second chance to make that good first impression. This is so important. So how can you make a good impression? What can you do? Smile, yeah. Smile is so basic but so powerful, right? Yes.
Professional attire.
Professional attire, what does that mean?
Dress well, formal clothes.
Formal, business suit for business roles, always. Yes, very good. Professional attire, smile.
Firm handshake. Firm handshake.
Firm handshake, yes, as long as you feel that comfort level with the person. Before the pandemic, always firm handshake. Now, if you feel them squirming, maybe no firm handshake, but definitely appropriate business behavior. Anything else you can do to make that first?
Maintain eye contact.
Yeah, good eye contact. Yes, definitely. Good. What else?
Networking earlier and before they came. Try to reach out on LinkedIn and as well as try to talk to them before they came.
You could reach out on LinkedIn for sure. Yeah. Okay, good. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, but super important to bring the most polished version of you, right? That super formal, professional version of yourself to the fair, from the way that you dress to your mannerisms, what you say, how you say it, right? Body language, all of those pieces. Okay, well, for handshake, if appropriate, for sure. Being personable, that warm smile. Awareness of personal space. So if we have about 300 students that have signed up to come, which means that it's going to be super crammed. But still, you still want to maintain that, at least arms length distance between you and the other person, right? So they don't feel uncomfortable or you don't feel uncomfortable. This one is a big one I've noticed in past fairs. Don't monopolize their time, right? They're only here between 11 and 2, and there are 300 students. And they will want to talk to all 300 students because, that's why they're here. They want to get to know everybody. Which means that your conversation will likely be short, right? So you want to be respectful of that, okay? Respect the swag, obviously, right? Don't take too much of what they're bringing. Some of them will even bring produce, which is always fun, right? If you want to grab a tomato or whatever they bring. This is important, especially for graduate level students, right? All of us have, you know, a lot of confidence in our skills, right? As we should. But there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? So being confident is great, you know, sure of yourself, that's great, but being too arrogant, that's not, you know, that's off-putting to most employers. Okay? And then we talked about that business. Okay. Any questions about this? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. All right, what to bring? You may bring copies of your resume. What I recommend is to tailor the resume based on the company, okay? And again, if you're fourth semester and there's a role that you really want, tailor it to that role. You can bring your portfolio, if you wish. If you have business cards, you can bring them. I mean, they're not used that much anymore, but if you have them, right now, why not? Now, some of the companies might tell you to still apply online, so don't feel that's a bad thing, right? They just have their process, but it's perfectly okay to bring your resume and offer that resume to them. So what often happens is, not in all cases, but in most cases, if you made a good impression, after the conversation is over, they'll put a little mark on your resume, right? So you won't really know. Sometimes you know if there's a follow-up, but if they just say, no, you know, just apply online and they just kind of cut the conversation, you probably did not do very well. Okay, yes, Moses?
If you can go to like the reference, character reference.
References, no, not at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, too early in the process.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Now you are at the fair. Okay. My suggestion is that if you are available at the beginning, to come at the beginning, right? The recruiters are going to get quite tired after 4 hours. So again, depending on your class schedule, but if you know the group here in this room is available at 11 a.m., come at 11 a.m. Right? They'll still be fresh. Or 11:15, 11:20. So that would just be my suggestion. Okay, so that's how long it takes for them to make that impression, to see if they like you or not. Let me ask you. So, okay, you're dressed in your business attire, you customize your resume, you go up to the recruiter. What do you do? What do you say? Hello. Yes. Morning. Good morning. Hello. Yes. What else?
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
How are you
here.
going to introduce yourself?
Name?
Name? Okay, excellent, good. Do you need to say your last name or just first name?
First name first.
First name is enough, yes, good. What else? So hello and name and our name? Program, yeah, definitely, for sure. And what else?
Bit about yourself, your skills, and just a brief about yourself and what you're offering them.
Exactly. Your pitch, your elevator pitch. So about 30 seconds, right? About you, right? So name, you know, hi, I'm Paul, Master Management student in Logistics and Supply Chain, the Logistics and Supply Chain program, right? And then maybe a couple of sentences about what you've done in the past that's related to what they're looking for. So very brief, right? I have 4 years of experience in purchasing and procurement. I'll be graduating this April. I noticed that you're recruiting for a purchasing coordinator. And then you start the conversation. So very brief, right? Our suggestion about 30 seconds or so, quick, to the point, and relevant to their needs. Okay? So, One more volunteer. What? Oh, come on. Is my volunteer coming?
Never seen her like that. I've seen her with short It's new. Yeah.
Alright, so Assad's gonna be the student for the candidate, and Ibrahim is going to be the employer. So this is a mock conversation, but it's really bad. So I want you to tell me what is wrong with it at the end, okay?
Starting from the CIBC, right?
Yeah, you say this
Hi there.
No.
Oh, we're coming to this.
Yeah.
Hi there. Okay. Hi, sir. My name is Assad, and I'm a Master's of Management student at the University of Windsor. So I'm from India. I just arrived in Canada a few months ago. In India, I work in a large retail outlet. I don't have any experience working in a bank. I'd really appreciate if you gave me a chance to work for your reputable company. This will help me gain experience. I'm really a hard worker and a fast learner. Here's my resume. When can I expect to get a call from you? Thank you so much for your interview, but currently we are not accepting interviews. Please apply online.
Alright, what was wrong with that?
He focused on the fact that he lacked experience rather than focusing on what he could have brought to the table.
Okay, yes, he focused more on his needs, right, rather than employer needs. Sure. Good. What else?
Also connection between him and the employer.
No connection. He was talking at the employer. He wasn't having the two-way conversation, right? Okay. What else was wrong with that? There's so much wrong there. Asking for a job. Yes, you were there for a job, right? But we don't want to directly ask for it, for sure.
So even that experience working in bank, he was telling the same experience, like I'm working on.
Focus on what you do have, your strengths. Don't mention any weaknesses or limitations, right? For sure. Good. What else was wrong with this?
You didn't give him a chance to respond to anything and
No, not at all, right? So if you are CIBC, the employer, would you make that little mark on the resume that you'll contact them later? Okay. Now, don't do this. Let's look at one that's a little bit better. Okay?
This is long series, so you will enjoy. Same height, Good morning, sir. How are you? Doing good. Good morning. Great, thank you. This is my first ever job here, and it's been wonderful to connect with you, with employers. That's great. Yes, it's been an exciting morning. I noticed that CIBC is hiring for a full-time financial service executive. I was thrilled to see, since it's a role that fits well with my background. However, I'm a current student and I do not have full-time availability. Are there any upcoming similar part-time opportunities?
We are just having full time. Check that our career website over the next weeks.
Will do.
What experience do you have?
I have worked in a bank in India for 2 years in sales and service positions. Similar to CIBC, I focus on relationship building and exceeding client expectations. I'm comfortable and thrive in client-facing role and have a proven track record of exceeding sales target.
What's your value?
I'm a business student in Masters of Management program, and I have classes on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I'm available all day Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday as well. In the evening, all day.
Great. Send me an email. Here is my business card with a photo. Reminding me of this conversation.
Absolutely, I'll do that.
Thank you. It was so nice to meet you and we will keep in touch.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you as well. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
All right, that was better, right? It's more of a conversation. What did we do well this time versus last time?
Interactive and engaging.
Yeah, it was more interactive, it was more engaging. Now, it did sound scripted because it's scripted, right? But in reality, it would flow a little bit better. It wouldn't be so rigid, right? And you can put your own style and personality into how you communicate. But this was more of a conversation, right? We knew exactly the strengths that we bring to CIBC. We had a good grasp of CIBC's strengths in terms of building that customer base and sales and relationship building, right? So we were aware of that and we targeted our message based on their needs. So much better. Good job. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So that is your goal, is to have that conversation, right? But in preparation, understanding your audience, right? So doing that research, tailoring your message based on your audience, right? And highlighting your strengths. Always highlight strengths, never mention limitations. Oh. Okay, so we've had this interaction, now we're ready to go to the next booth, right? So again, exit gracefully, right? That conversation was less than a minute long, and it was still meaningful. So you being able to read the cues, right? If the employer is starting to look around, they're probably done with the conversation. So that graceful exit is definitely important. And then the follow-up, right? In less than a minute, sure, you'll make a great impression, but you still want to continue that conversation, right? So ideally, the conversation that you had on the fair was strong enough that now it may warrant an interview, right? So you want to send that personalized message following the fair, thank the person for their time, maybe remind them of the conversation that you've had with them, and then mention your interest in moving forward with whatever opportunities they have available and that your interest. All right, some of the things that I've noticed in past fairs that I would recommend just keeping an eye out. Don't ask questions that you should know the answer to, right? Don't ask them, what are you hired for? You should already know that. Don't ask them for a job just because you really need a job, right? Your goal is to present yourself, the value that you bring. They know you're looking for a job, they're asking for a job. Right? Practice your elevator pitch, but not to a point where it sounds too rehearsed, right? You still want it to be natural, but you want to have kind of those top 3 or one side you want to hit in that conversation.
So,
Yes.
so what's the exact time limit for the elevator speech?
I would say maybe around 30 seconds or so. A few sentences about you as related to the organization, right? So if they're hiring for purchasing and you have purchasing experience,
Only 30 seconds? But you email you mentioned that you give a pitch for 90 seconds.
for this, so this is a little bit faster. Now, now, if you go to 40, don't make it on that 30, it's just keep it brief, clear, to the point. All right, so now the moment of truth. So I'm going to have the employers line up in the hallway. Okay. And then once they're all ready to go, we can have the candidates chat with them. And then we'll come back in the room and give the prize out. And I'll address questions at that time. Okay? So employers, please.